This episode of Local Film Talk was recorded in the Green Room at Natty Green's in downtown Raleigh. Perfect for business meetings or just joining friends to watch the big game, the Green Room is the ideal place to host your next event. To learn more, contact David Crack at 919-232-2477 or email david at nattygreens.com.
So anyway, as I began to hit these roadblocks, and some of them were extremely frustrating, I began to wonder, well, come on, seriously, I'm not the only one doing this.
Right.
And then I started looking around, and I realized there aren't a lot of people in this area making feature films. There are some, and the ones you probably know about are the ones you probably know about, but there are not a lot of them. Why do you think this is? Do you think it's possibly because the state in and of itself and the atmosphere again is we like to have lip service to this
Industry.
to the industry, and we want to say we want to be, you know, we want that incentive, we want to build a filmmaking community, but there actually really isn't an infrastructure to actually really help filmmakers make films. It's pretty much on our own.
Which is daunting, and you know, when you're trying to do something big, it's so much about supervising and farming jobs out.
Yeah.
You know, if there, like you said, if there's not an infrastructure to help facilitate that and help you find the resources you need,
Right.
you're better
For
off
instance-
sticking to
for
shorts
instance,
at film
I'm gonna
festivals
actually-
and doing commercials.
Exactly, and I think that's what's going on. That's what's in this area, and that's why you don't see people reaching. I've totally overreached. This project is huge. This project is extremely ambitious. I also think it's really freaking good. The likelihood of me falling flat on my face is probably pretty high, but any film is actually, if you look at investments, when they hand you a business plan for an investment to ask you if you want to invest money in it, they have to tell you that it's extremely high risk, but it also has a really high return.
Right.
But it's extremely high risk. Extremely high risk. But
Yep.
Our budget, I told you, our budget's $625,000.
Okay.
That is the top of what SAG considers the modified low budget contract.
Okay.
All right? At that level, an actor is paid a certain amount of money.
Okay.
It's good. It's not great. It's good. It's whatever. But they're paid a certain amount of money. All right? Okay, so we're at the top of that.
All right.
Guess what SAG just did 2 weeks ago? They gave everybody raises that are going to take place over the next 3 years. So there's going to be 5%. I think it's 5% going to be next year. I think it's going to eventually equate to a 20% raise, and it's going to be divvied out over 3 years.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm at the top of my modified low budget, right? Now all my actors have to get paid 5% more. That's going to push me over that. When I get pushed over that, the next echelon has a higher pay rate for the actors. So I have to pay them even more money. All right, in everything that I read about it, because I couldn't find it, and maybe this is going to be finalized, but what they didn't do was they didn't raise the caps for the different tiers of
so it
the
just
films.
keeps pushing you up and up and up and up.
Yeah, so 625, you know, they could have raised it to 700,000.
But they don't, so now you get pushed to 700,000, and hell, at 700,000, there's probably another.
No, the next tier is like 2 million.
Oh, okay.
So,
So he
but-
does do his research.
yeah, yeah. But so that in and of itself is, it is what it is. It's easy to figure out, and you know, you got it. But now I have to spend time calling SAG and saying, guys, I'm getting ready to shoot a film that's going to shoot in 2015. That's now got to
You got to rework the whole budget.
I can't. Well, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It's going to go over budget, and it's going to go over budget a certain amount of money, which means I have to now raise more money and figure out a way to get more investors. I've got to up how much the investment's going to be. And instead of going, but I'm also going to call them and say, and I've not had good luck with working with the SAG people. How do you grandfather me into this?
Right.
How do I get told that for this film, which has been on your records, because I filed all the paperwork, it's on your records, that when this film up until this film is filmed, I have to pay them the 2013 rates.
I imagine they don't really have much leniency for
I
that.
don't think they're going to, but you never know. But I mean,
Now, but again, this, you know, being in a non-union state, this is one of those things where I suppose you could just say, screw it, we're doing what we're doing, and if you don't like it, you can just take the long walk off the short pier. But then you shoot your actors in the foot, right?
Well, I'd say, you know, we can't afford that, and we're not going to pay the raise. So it'll only be those two guys, because those are the only two guys right now that are SAG. And if I'm going to say to them, I cannot pay the extra money. I cannot pay your raise.
And this is just one of the, you know, one of those things, political things that happens when you're making a movie.
Yeah, and people don't get it. People don't understand it. Nobody, you know how many actors that are SAG actors that I have looked when I tell them, I said, do you know all of us were working on the set, we're all crew and stuff like that, and we're working on the set, and halfway through the day, 2 days into the shoot, of a 14-day shoot, 2 days into the shoot, SAG comes in and says, I'm sorry, but you guys have been doing this particular activity, whatever that may be, and our actors need to be compensated for that. And the producer says, well, we don't have that kind of money, so we can't do that. And the SAG people say, well, then my actors can't work. And they said, but we're already filming. And they said they cannot work. And all the actors pack their bags up and they leave. Guess who is guaranteed to get their full 2 weeks pay, and guess who is not guaranteed to get their full 2 weeks pay?
Seriously.
Guess who?
Holy cow.
All those actors will get their 2 weeks pay. You guys, you're done after 2 days if they got to stop the production.
The actors get theirs, the crew can take a hike.
I mean,
There's a lot of hoops.
But what I don't, that's a SAG problem that I have. I think that's kind of wrong. But I have a problem with the actors who kind of stare at me blindly when I say that. And I said, do you know that can happen? And they're like, I'm like, how do you think that makes me feel as a producer and a director? And it's not like I'm planning on doing something wrong. Believe me, I'm more than anybody. I'm somebody that wants to make sure that we're treating everybody as well as we possibly can.
Especially someone who used to be an actor.
Yes.
And it's probably what, you know, that's something that a lot of people who say they're aspiring filmmakers and they're, you know, they got a website that they say they're working on a feature, probably haven't even considered. You know, if people learn that kind of stuff, it would probably deter a lot more people. But at the same time, that's why you end up with...
that would be very helpful.
You know,
in our industry, that would be very helpful.
Well, that's why you end up, like you said, with so many people who basically do commercials, local commercials, and then, you know, do short films that they submit to film festivals in hopes that somebody, you know, snatches them up and takes them off to California and says, you know, now, you know, here's an agent and all that stuff, and we'll take care of all the infrastructure stuff for you. You just go direct us a movie.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah.
So it's really cool that you're sticking around and doing it here and actually learning all that stuff. I would love.
I want to make that community that everybody likes to that everybody likes to give kind of lip service to, about building that community and really being a resource. That's part of what I want this company to be. Is I want to be that resource. You know, if I can build this company so that we can shoot a feature film every year. I mean, I'm one guy, so if I could shoot a feature film every year, you know, that's upwards of 50 jobs. Some of those jobs would be only for, you know, for the duration of the, but again, I'm one guy. If you get 4 or 5 people doing that kind of stuff in here, I mean, then you've suddenly got, you know, jobs that are staying, people that are staying, the community's growing. Some of the difficulties of getting places to be able to film, and again, I'm not one of these people that says, oh no, dude, we'll just go down there and film it, nobody will ever know. And if we see, you know, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm too old to go to jail for my artwork. I love my art, but I'm not going to jail.
Too old to hop that chain link fence to shoot in somebody's abandoned warehouse.
Plus, I think it's kind of silly anyway. I mean, if you ask for permission and get permission in there or somewhere else, then you don't have the worry and the back of your mind. I got to keep. Oh my God, is that somebody coming around the corner? Oh my God, we got to run.
Well, I have been amazed at how many people say yes.
Yeah.
I did a short film a couple years ago that had a scene that took place in the art museum. The movie's kind of a Da Vinci Code spoof.
Oh, nice.
And so there was going to be this scene where the bad guy and the good guy are, you know, staring at a painting in the art museum. And, you know, for weeks I was sitting there going, how am I gonna, they're never gonna let me shoot in the art museum. Finally, one day I just, you know, nutted up, I got the nerve, and I called up the art museum and I said, hey, this is what I want to do. We're not going to make a lot of noise. We're not going to touch anything. You know, this is the scene we want to do. Would it be okay if we filmed there? And they said, okay.
Yeah. And
really?
Right. And you know, you think about how many people, apparently what a great film community we have and how big it is and everything like that. How often do you really drive around and see people filming?
Right. You know, a sidewalk blocked off or something. Yeah.
Never. I mean, I don't think I hardly ever do. And when I do, it's usually a big deal. I'm like, ooh, do I know that person? Because I'm usually pretty sure that I do. So, you know, I think this place could be the community that it wants to be. But I think everybody's really too in love with the mystique of filmmaking and the sort of like that nobody really wants to tackle the
paperwork,
the
business,
the foundation of it. What's gonna, you know, what's gonna hold your dreams up?
Right. Is that what you want to shoot Endless Whispers on?
I think we're actually going to shoot Endless Whispers on, well...
You gonna try to get the red epic?
No, don't start me in on about the red.